So here's the thing. If you're thinking about buying a home in 2025, you are not alone. But if you're also confused, frustrated, or feeling like the housing market is one big roulette wheel, many feel the same way as you do. The housing market isn't just about supply and demand anymore. It's about tariffs, government cuts, mortgage rates, and economic policies that could shift the landscape overnight. And if you're not paying attention, you could end up making a decision that you may regret. Right now, we're seeing some of the biggest shakeups in our economy and the housing market all at the same time. And if history has taught us anything, it's that big changes rarely come without consequences. Here are the 5 factors influencing our housing market right now. Number 1, mass deportations. Fewer workers, fewer new builds, and fewer remodels, potentially more expensive housing. Number 2, federal layoffs. What's going on there? Maybe more people will be forced to list their homes, increasing supply, but it also may cause weaker demand because no one's got jobs. Tariffs. We don't know what's going on with those, but higher home construction costs, mortgage rates, Trump's promises versus the Fed's reality, and Fanny Mae and Freddie Mac going private could impact who gets a mortgage. So let's start with mass deportations, because whether you realize it or not, this could be one of the biggest factors shaping the housing supply and demand. According to the National Immigration Forum, between 10% and 19% of U.S. construction workforce is made up of undocumented immigrants. Now imagine if ICE goes to all these construction sites, what happens if a significant portion of that workforce disappears overnight? The U.S. already has a severe housing shortage. We're short by about 4.5 million homes, according to Fannie Mae. And if labor becomes even scarcer, the cost of building homes goes up, and timelines stretch out even longer for new builds. And that's only part of the story. Deportations don't just affect home supply, they may impact demand. Fewer people in the country means fewer renters, which I think most of the illegal immigrants are, and home buyers. Now, if demand shrinks in certain markets, housing prices, rental prices, which would be good, would go down in those areas and could start to decline. I don't think that illegal immigrants are going to have an impact on purchasing homes, as I don't think they're in any position to buy a home. So if deportations ramp up significantly, will that drive home prices down? Maybe, maybe not. But if we have fewer homes being built, the supply side tightens, which could push prices up and up big. So the big question is, which will have a bigger impact? Deportations or lack of demand? And it depends on how aggressively the government enforces its immigration policies. Deportation has been going on significantly. Even back into the Obama years, more people were being deported then than now. And it hasn't affected the housing market. But what is new is that the number of illegals coming in has decreased significantly. When the COVID boom occurred, there was a definite scramble for builders to get skilled laborers. Skilled labor was able to command higher wages because they were in short supply. So it caused an increase in new construction prices and builders were scrambling. Number 2, federal layoffs. The U.S. government has a $34 trillion national debt, and one of President Trump's administration's top priorities is cutting government waste, fraud, and abuse, and there's a lot of that. So President Trump has Elon Musk in charge of DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. And no doubt there is a ton of programs that can be trimmed and fraud that can be found. And agencies can be eliminated and are being eliminated, and money's being saved. Now, it sounds great on paper. Nobody likes wasted tax dollars, but the question is where these cuts are happening. To cut the national debt, we can either increase taxes, which is not going to happen. Nobody wants that. Or we have to stop spending and find the fraud. Now, how does this affect housing? When the government agencies are restructured, when thousands of government employees, workers lose their jobs, they are not in the market to buy homes anymore. And some of them who actually own a home might start struggling to make their mortgage payments, which could lead to a rise in the number of homes for sale. The Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has been tasked with identifying wasteful spending. And that means everything. Every department is on the table. Military budgets. Private defense contractors could be in trouble. and their employees, federal agencies, the IRS, the post office, social programs, National Institute of Health. We don't know who's going to get fired, who's going to keep a job. Now, this is not a political video, and I get it. I get the government has been spending too much and has spending problems. But here's the thing. When you start slashing jobs too fast without a plan, especially in the wrong areas, you create a new problem. And we don't know how all of this will end. Layoffs definitely will lead to decreased demand because who is buying a home without a job? And it may lead to many being forced to sell their homes because they can no longer afford them. We'll have to wait and see. Now, tariffs on imports. Why lumber is about to cost you more. In February, President Trump announced a 25% tariff on Canadian lumber. Now, if that had gone into effect, it would have meant that building homes would have gotten a lot more expensive. Now, why do tariffs on Canada matter? Because about 30% of our lumber used in U.S. home construction comes from Canada. And if builders suddenly are paying more for lumber and materials, those costs are definitely getting passed on to home buyers, you and me. Just a week ago, though, tariffs on Canadian products have been put on temporary hold. A pause. What happens next is anyone's guess. Mortgage rates. Trump promises to reduce mortgage rates, but what's the Fed's reality? Now, Trump has promised to bring mortgage rates back down to 3%. Now, that sounds great, right? But here's the thing. The Federal Reserve, which controls the interest rates, not the president, the Fed has come out and said that they are not in any rush to cut rates in 2025 all of a sudden. Why? Inflation, tariffs, general economic uncertainty. Walmart has come out with cautious guidance. The stock market is getting hit. So unless something drastic changes and some sort of master plan is put into place, which we never know with President Trump, mortgage rates may probably stay in the 6 to 7% range for a while. Now, 6 to 7%, while they're higher than they were, are not really out of the realm of historic norms. But perception is our reality. And it isn't just about mortgage rates. Everyone knows that housing prices are high. Now, one suggestion I heard was to have current homeowners who want to move but are staying put because they have low interest rates, like a 3% rate. They don't want to trade those in for a 7% rate. Proposal: allow them to sell their homes, which would increase supply. Allow them to keep their mortgage and go into another home if they purchase a home of higher value. So if they had a 3% mortgage, they could keep that 3% mortgage. Just a thought. Maybe somebody can jump on that and try and work with it. The next problem is privatizing Fanny Mae and Freddie Mac. Now, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac buy up mortgages from lenders. They package them up and they sell them to investors. Since the financial crisis of 2008, the government has owned and backed up the loans that Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae have sold to investors. Now, this gives the investors a lot of comfort in buying these loans, knowing that they're not going to default, and it allows the mortgage industry to flow seamlessly. Now, President Trump wants to reprivatize Freddie and Fannie, and if they reprivatize them, the mortgage loans will no longer be backed up by the U.S. government. This may cause investors to pause. It may cause banks to further scrutinize a loan application. Banks could get pickier about who they lend money to, and it may lead to higher mortgage rates or tighter lending rules. Nobody knows. My name is Eli Magids, and I'm a real estate advisor here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and the surrounding areas of Charlotte, specializing in luxury homes, custom homes, and new home construction. But most importantly, I am your realtor with heart. Not trying to sell you a house, but here to help you find a home and a lifestyle that you and your family are going to love. Think we're a good fit? Give me a call, a text, fill out your name in the link below, the information, and I'll call you right back. And if you're looking for a home or you want to sell your home in your market and you need to get a referral for a great local agent in your area, click on the link below, call me or text me, fill out the form, again, text me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and I will get you one of the best real estate agents in your area. Now, what should you do? Look, 2025 is shaping up to be a very complicated year for real estate. If you're buying or selling, pay attention to interest rates, obviously, job trends, tariffs, international chaos, which is crazy, Wall Street, because all of these things are interconnected. And make sure you align yourself with someone who's super smart and savvy when it comes to trying to purchase your home. Thank you so much for watching, and until we see each other again next time.